Hey, thanks for joining us. We are talking about vision. We're talking about the vision that we feel that God has given us for this church, Catch the Fire Church in Toronto, and where He wants us to be in 5, 10 years from now. This has been a beautiful process for us as leadership, hasn't it? And we've been spending time, lots and lots of time, talking and praying and seeking God, talking with our pastors, with staff, and really just digging in together. What is God saying the church should look like? And some of these things are, they're somewhat tangible now. We're already there. And there are other things that feel like they require a bit of a stretch of faith for us. And I think this one that we're going to talk about today is a bit of both. I want to talk about this one. We are a church filled with people from all walks of life and are intentional to move beyond our comfort zones to reach fresh generations and people groups. This is something that you could say is true of our congregation right now, but it's also something that we don't want to settle in, and we want to be, like it says, moving beyond our comfort zones, right? So what does that look like for you, and how have you guys stretched your own comfort zones to be more inclusive in that sense?
Mm-hmm.
The statistics, Ben, are that 2 of every 3 adults in our church were not born in Canada. So we are a multicultural church. We weren't that 15 years ago. When I first came to this church 25 years ago, plus it was predominantly white, a white congregation. And our city, the city of Toronto, is not white. It used to be white. It's multicultural. And so I am thrilled that multicultural new Canadians feel at home at Catch the Fire. We have intentionally done things over the years, accidentally sometimes, on purpose sometimes, but we've tried to embrace multiculturalism as best we can. The other interesting statistic for me is that 2/3 of our church are under the age of 35. So kids, youth, young adults. We're a young church as well.
Yeah.
So that to me is 2 amazing things for our future. That says we do have a future. Sadly, there are lots of churches in our city that are a much older congregation. They're 60 plus in the seats that make up their congregations. They're going to be struggling to have a future in our city. And we reflect the city of Toronto. So I think that that's always what God wants, is that the local gathering of the church reflects who lives in that city. So here's some of the interesting little ones for us, Ben, opportunities for us. Just to the north of us is the lowest income, highest crime, highest unemployment of all of the GTA. It's the North Kipling community. And that's where we've targeted our outreaches. That's where we've targeted our partnerships with other ministries, is for that community. They are real people in our community, and they need an extra help. Our church is incredibly diverse. So we have high-end multimillionaires that are in our church, and we have people that live on pensions, on disabilities. We have people that have been at times homeless and are part of our congregation. We've got a whole specter, and I love that you sit beside people and probably don't know who they are, what their background is, but this is us. And God wants us to continue to reach out. Just to the east of us, at Martin Grove and Dixon Road, we have 10,000 Somalis that live in that community. Big gang community. 2 big Somali gangs are killing each other, literally killing each other. We haven't connected with that group yet. We haven't seen a breakthrough in that community yet. Mm-hmm. So that would be one of my heart's desires, that in 5 years, 10 years from now, we've got some wonderful Somali people that are part of our congregation, come to know Jesus, bringing their friends, reaching out, etc.
Yeah, I love how we here at Catch the Fire celebrate multiculturalism. We have just so many cultures, and I love the passion that each of them holds, and I learn so much. And so I just love what God's doing here at Catch the Fire and just bringing everybody. Remember years ago, I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but we used to have all the flags.
Yeah.
And it was actually it was a very special moment that only people that were part of our church, if they were born in that particular nation, they could get a flag of their nation, bring it forward, and all the people in the church that were from that nation would come, and they would stand behind them, and they would describe what the flag meant and their culture. And we celebrated all the different cultures that way. And then we hung it on our ceiling, and we had, I don't know how many flags.
100.
That we had from every nation. And it was beautiful, just beautiful to see and beautiful to learn from each other. So it was wonderful.
It's one of my favorite things about this city here is that incredible multiculturalism. And I also love that multi-generational aspect of the church family, because when we do church, when we do relationships, when we do it together, we are moving beyond the people that we might naturally relate to. You know, grandparents might relate to grandparents of a similar socioeconomic class and a similar, you know, skin color or whatever. And actually, when we come together as church, we bridge all of those divides, and there's this kind of beautiful exchange of compromise, isn't there? Where it's like, it's not exactly as this group might like it, and it's not exactly as this group might like it. It's not, but it's because as we come together, we're actually not seeking any one of our own cultures or preferences. We're seeking Him. And if we all fix our eyes on Him, it creates this incredible harmony between us, which I think is really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's one of the best parts of our church is who God has gathered. And I look forward in the next 5-10 years to see who God's going to be gathering in the future.
Yeah.